So let me get this straight. We're talking about employee reductions in state government, and I get it. Tough times. They're getting a little better. Bob McDonnell this week releasing a revenue reforecast that shows that state revenues are coming in better than projected. Of course, we had been projecting them to be too good, so take that with a grain of salt. But okay, they're better than projected. That's great. But still, we're going to need to do some adjusting. Maybe some furloughs, unpaid furloughs. A lot of people have been dealing with unpaid furloughs lately, so that's not out of the realm of anybody's knowledge, I guess we can say. But at the end of all that, it's kind of like the game show Survivor. You make it to the end and you'll get a bonus. The governor proposing this week to state employees that in December 2011, a one-time 3% bonus would be awarded as a sign of thanks. Again, I look at it as maybe a sign of, hey, congratulations, you made it. It's easy to be cynical in this time, I know. And a number of state employees are feeling just that way. I've talked to quite a few this week. And there's a lot of rancor over this letter. You know, on the one hand, we're asking you to take all this pain. On the other hand, we're leaving this piece of candy out there a couple years into the distance. You know, I have to be one who says, I wonder if that 3% raise would ever come to fruition. You know, you're putting something out there that far out into a budget cycle, and Virginia does its state budgets on a 2-year cycle, probably for a reason. You're probably waiting for some excuse to not be able to do it, possibly. I mean, that's a very cynical view of it, but in any case, Bob McDonnell clearly is dealing with the issues, whether he's dealing with them well, whether morale is good in state government or not. It is what it is, right? I mean, I've tapped into some of it, and it's definitely the part that's getting to me anyway is negative. But, you know, I don't begrudge Bob McDonnell for anything he does. It's a pretty tough situation right now. I don't think there's any question about that. He's got my support because he needs it, and I think everybody, Democrat, Republican, agnostic, should all come in together here because we have some things working for us at this point. We have some positive news. The U.S. GDP last quarter was up 6%. You know, we don't want to assume that it's going to continue at that pace, but what that indicates is that we're seeing a recovery happen. Again, those numbers that Bob McDonnell released this week from the state revenue reforecast show that things are moving in a positive direction. Housing sales in Virginia, housing starts are up. Construction activity is starting to see things go again. I want to give some credit to that, to the efforts in Congress on stimulus. I know some people disagree with that, but logically, putting money into the economy is going to stimulate economic activity. We're seeing that. It's finally happening. But to keep it going, we're going to need to work together. And so in Virginia, what I would encourage, I guess, state employees to do is say, all right, this letter was worded interestingly, to say the least, and the approach is odd, but the way we're going to make things work is working together. So if you can subsume that cynicism, I think that's probably the best approach. Not much of a rant, but hey, getting the message across. I'm Chris Grant.